Hey, welcome to the Chante Youth Podcast. This is episode 2. We're hanging out today with Ameliya, Doney, and Keeley, Blount-Henderson. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to Rescast Studio. This is your first time here, right?
Yeah.
Cool. What grades you guys in?
We're freshmen.
Freshmen. Oh, man. It's nice. It's cool. You got a good range there. So cool. So today we're talking about reservation conspiracies. So, what's the first subject that you guys got there?
Whistling at night.
Whistling at night.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me your thoughts on that, or tell me some things you've heard about it.
That you shouldn't whistle at night, and that it's a very bad thing. But also, it's like what do you call it? Like a teaching lesson. Like, I've also heard stories that, like, when kids were little, they would whistle at night around camp, and so they always told them that it was a bad thing that they couldn't whistle at night.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How about you, Keeley?
Pretty much the same things that she said.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of heard the same stuff, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know if it's a trend right now, but we were just shooting in Poplar for 2 weeks, and one of the 7th graders there came up to me towards the end, and he was like, how much would someone have to pay you to whistle at night? So I'm just wondering if that's kind of a talking thing right now going around, or it's cool that it's still alive, though, you know, that teaching. One of the things, I guess, that I was told with it is that they say it attracts bad spirits. That was kind of our teaching when I was growing up. I grew up in Fort Blount, but that was one of the things they would say. Don't whistle at night. It attracts like bad spirits. So it's kind of taboo. So have you ever done it?
On accident, but not on purpose.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah,
Yeah?
on accident, and then I don't know, my grandma scared me.
She scared you with it?
Yeah.
What'd she tell you?
I don't know, my mom was like, better not be doing that, and she just kept going on
Really?
about things, and I was like, okay, I'll stop.
So, did it stick?
Yeah.
Does it kind of freak you out?
Yeah.
Like enough to not do it, or what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I never really done it. I didn't really hear about it until I was growing up and I was older.
Yeah.
But still, it's like a scarce thing.
Yeah, who was the first to share it? I guess, where'd you first hear about that?
I'm not too sure. I just know that it just stuck to me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Whistling at night. What else you got?
I don't know how to explain it. If I were to eat and my food drops on the ground, I always think about my ancestors are hungry.
Yeah.
And that I need to feed them.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have any teachings with that?
Yeah, it's every time someone drops food in my family or something, and they would be like, oh, this person's hungry. It's someone who passed on kind of recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. Then later on in the day, we'll probably go to their grave and just give them food.
Yeah. That's cool.
Or also my mom, whenever something happens like that, will put out a spirit plate.
Yep. Yeah. That's just really interesting, man. I mean, this is really cool to hear that coming from your guys' age group, freshmen, to see that some of those teachings are alive and well. That's pretty cool because, I feel that those teachings are really unique to natives, that spiritual connection when it comes to feeding, all that kind of stuff. And I've been taught, similar stuff, but I mean, this one's kind of, I don't know what you'd say, new to me, I guess, is about the dropping the food. So that's new to me. But we've always been taught, that there's times and stuff where you make a spirit plate or you offer food and things like that. But that's cool though. That's a new teaching. You learn something new every day. So dropping the food, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is this kind of would you say amongst your peers, say in your school and things like that, would you consider that something like that, like common knowledge, or not really? Is this
Not really.
Not
I
really?
mean, like, it's like different because like we go to a school with like non-natives
Mhm.
and Native Americans. So sometimes if you say that and people don't grow up culturally,
Right.
they don't understand
Yeah.
sometimes. But I don't know.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was just curious cuz like to see, I didn't know where that was, cuz even I, like in our school growing up, I went to school in Harlem, and at the time, I don't know what it is today, but at the time when I was in high school, it was probably 98% native. So, but even then, back then, a lot of those teachings weren't, like, not everyone knew them just because it was mostly native. There was a lot that didn't grow up with like those teachings and stuff. So that's why I was just curious. Thanks, man.
Next is Tule Creek.
Tule Creek.
Yeah.
All right, that is Tule Creek's definitely a landmark here on the Fort Peck Reservation.
Yeah.
It kind of splits the reservation there. And so tell me about it. What is it that you...
Wicked story.
I've always been told that Tule Creek is like the creek between, well, it is the creek between Wolf Point and Poplar.
Mhm.
And like mostly Assiniboines live on like the Wolf Point side and the
Mhm.
Sioux live on the Poplar side. And like I always got told that like to never look in my rearview mirrors going past it because it's like Goat Man and Deer Woman, they're not always bad things, but they can be bad things, and you don't really want to mess with them and to not like see them. You don't want to see them. But
Yeah.
sometimes like they're not always bad things.
Mhm. Yeah. How about you, Keeley? What have you heard about?
Like same with like not looking back like in your mirrors or anything, and like I don't know, like getting like followed by something, or like something catching your attention kind of like sticks with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
So it's kind of, I guess I'm kind of taking that it's necessarily like maybe, I guess it is a
Like
bad
bad
place?
spirits sometimes.
Mhm.
Sometimes.
If like there aren't good intentions, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's interesting, man. And then what'd you say? Did you mention Deer Woman? Is that what you said? What is that? Tell me about that, because a lot of reservations have that story. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, what's some of the stuff that you heard?
Like I don't know, like a woman on the road with like hooves and stuff.
Yeah.
And like men who have like beaten or like done stuff to like their woman.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
I've also heard that Deer Woman, like she was like a bad lady, like she would attract men, and like she had really good looks and she would attract men, and then later she would like do bad things to them, like kill them or something, because she would turn into like Deer Woman or something.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. You know, I heard kind of a similar story too. Like I want to say it was in this area somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but there was like a long time ago. There was a dance. Like I don't know if it was a Gahominy dance or something. Like, but it was a long time ago, and a guy came in. I guess was like really super, like good looking and had nice hair and braided and dressed really nice. And I guess he kind of came in and everyone, kind of wooed the ladies and stuff, and no one knew who he was, and so everyone was asking around and like kind of talking and asking where this guy was from, and this could just be one of those old what do you call those legends, those I forget what they're called, like street legends or something like that. But anyway, they say that when he left, like, because people would go out to maybe smoke or whatever, and like they went outside and this guy like went walking off, and somebody said, or a few people or whatever that was out there said that when he got to the fence line, he like turned into like a elk or deer or something like that and jumped over the fence and left. This is kind of weird though.
No.
But yeah, it's crazy stories like that. There was, there's this story that I also heard this same similar character in the Blackfeet Reservation that happened. But also, my son was telling me there was that some of his friends, there's a jail down in Basin, Wyoming, I believe. that where it's at? There's a jail down in Basin, Wyoming, and there's this Indian guy that seems like to be in there quite a bit, and a lot of the guys know him that have been in that, you know, get thrown in jail. I think it's lame deer. I want to say lame deer and crow. A lot of times they get sent down there, so there's always kind of a lot of natives there. But there's some old guy that's been in there a lot, and a lot of the inmates know his name and stuff, but they swear he's like something else, like from some other world, because he'll talk to the inmates and he'll tell them their whole family tree, and like their grandparents, their great grandparents, and like all of them, anyone that's in there, like he can tell them their whole family tree. And then like there's times that he's done like card tricks and like throwing a card. Yeah, I mean, kind of like that Chris Angel stuff, like, but in jail, and like threw a card and it'd be like stuck on the outside of the glass and stuff. But anyway, these guys swear this guy's like spirit or something, because you know, how does he know this kind of stuff?
I don't know. I've heard about little people, but I've also heard like different stories. But this is just a story I got told. I mean, there's also many stories to other stories that I just told, but like little people, like I heard that they're like a bad thing, but to me I don't think they are. And like I heard that they like help us, like they help you find small things that you lost. And yeah, that's all I've heard about them. But in different reservations, I think they're like a bad thing.
Yeah, but I've heard both. And it kind of makes me think, just when I look at the world, and everything in existence, seems like there's like negative and positive to everything, and I think there's good ones, and I think there's negative ones. You know what I mean? And I think it just depends, like, on the experience, man. That's really interesting. Have you ever heard of these?
Well, just a little bit, like with like losing something, and like some people like blame it on the little people, and like they'll be like, oh, must have been little people or something like that. And like, I don't know, same with like helping you find things, I guess.
So my question is, do you believe in them? Do you believe they exist?
Yeah, sometimes, like, I don't know, sometimes I think it's just like a thing to say when you lose something, but also I feel like it is true, you know? Because like I personally like lose things and I can't find them, and then when I'm not looking for them, they're like right in front of me in places that are so like odd, and people will just be like, oh, it's the little people.
Yeah. You believe in them, Keeley? What would you do if you seen one?
I have no clue.
No clue? I'd
probably ask them how they found my things, because they're smarter than me.
Yeah. I think there's, I really do. I think there's different size ones myself, because, I mean, I believe they exist.
Yeah.
Because, we have a creek that runs all across Fort Blount, the whole reservation, called People's Creek. And People's Creek, that's how it's got its name, was from little people. And so they've been spotted like throughout for years and years and years. People have seen them, along there. But I don't know, I could be wrong, but I kind of think they're multi-dimensional, meaning they can like you can't catch them. You know what I mean? Like they can like disappear. I really do, because I mean, how can people go decades and decades and decades of seeing these, and never once has anyone ever. I mean, it's almost like you get a glimpse and then it's gone.
Like Bigfoot.
Yeah, like Bigfoot.
Or like, I feel like a Native American leprechaun, but like it's not seasonal. It's like a all-around thing, or like they have their own place.
Right. I do. Yeah, I think so. And I think there's different size ones. I think that there's, I watched a documentary once. I know this sounds crazy, but it was about fairies. We always were taught like they're just like these little mythical stuff. But this one guy he went out into this someplace in some country, I forget where it's at, but there's like this small community. It's really rural, but there's a lot of people there that like believe in it, and they've seen them. Like a lot of these local people out by these woods, they go, oh yeah, we see them. And but anyway, he started like trying to really try to like document one, and he really couldn't. But he did spend this whole bunch of time out in the woods, and it wasn't until after he went through his footage he did get some like these like shots of these things in the background, and it was like crazy. And I'm like, wow. But yeah, so he didn't actually like, you know, not where you could like actually follow one or see one, but there was like these, almost like they were following him or watching him, you know, from behind. But he would have like a picture or like a selfie or something, and then the camera would catch something in there.
I seen something like that on TikTok, and I was like reading through the comments, and like a bunch of them were like if you see one or something, like something bad will happen to like a family member or something like that, and it's like kind of scary.
Really? Wow. You know, here's the thing that I kind of,
because like they don't want to be seen.
yeah. I kind of think like you know, how about like owls? Have you guys heard? Do you guys ever met? Like, have you heard anything about owls?
Yeah.
No, I've never had before.
Oh.
I feel like I have, but I don't remember like what type of theory or whatever it was.
Yeah. See, so this is where it gets interesting, is because, you know, the owls is, you know, I was always taught that they're like the messenger, like they kind of bring warnings, or they bring, you know, some people say bad news, but not necessarily. Some they say it can be warnings and things like that. So we kind of, but one elder explained to me, they said it's not that the owl is bad, it's just its job, right? Like its job is to bring the message. So it's not that the owl is bad, it's just that that's his job to kind of warn you or bring you, you know, a sign that, hey man, you might want to watch out, or you know, whatever, something's about to happen, or something. And when I think about that, it's interesting because there is some, like, I don't know what you call them. I don't know if it's, but there's some people where they're good signs. Like they that's where they call, the old saying comes, the wise old owl.
Yeah.
So they see that as wisdom, and they almost look at that when they see one, is how we revere eagles. Like, you know, we look at eagles like a good sign, a good omen. Like, oh yeah, I see an eagle, that's a good. Some people see owls like that, like it's a good omen. It's good. It's like, oh man, that's wisdom and that's power. So I feel, is what I've come to kind of, you know, find in all of that, is that I believe that the universe, or whatever you want to call it, will show us what we believe. You know what I mean? So if I believe that they're good and say something good is coming, then it'll show me that sign. So say, I'm just being hypothetical, say I looked at owls as being really good and a good luck thing, and maybe that's what I would see, you know, when that's coming.
Yeah.
So, but if someone says those are like, no, those are bad, that's a bad sign, I feel that then it'll show that, you know, if I'm being warned. That's kind of how I've come to.
Or like when people see, like I've seen people, like they think of like butterflies as a good thing, or like as like one of their ancestors coming to meet them, or someone who has passed on. But like some of us also see eagles that way.
Yeah.
Like
reals.
Like growing up, I've kind of like with the Northern Lights. I don't know if you guys ever heard about that, but like what my grandma has like always told me is like, don't look at them at night, and like, because it's like a sign that like someone like might pass on, and it's like the same thing with the owls. Yeah, and like I've always like taught just like not look at them, or like if we're in a car somewhere and like they come out, it's like I would always have to put a blanket over my head. Yeah, like my grandma would kind of make me do that, so I was just like, all right, so I kind of just like grew up like that.
Yep. Yeah. How about Bigfoot? You guys believe in Bigfoot?
Kind of, sorta. Like I've seen like documentaries and things about it, like how they've seen him. Like they don't have pictures of him, but like they have like imprints of his foot places. But also like it's kind of like hard to believe it and not believe it, because like you don't know if it's like true because you never saw him yourself. Like also like those other, like the other stories that we told, like Deer Woman and stuff, like we've never saw them personally, but like we've also like heard stories about them. So like it's like the same thing with Bigfoot.
Yeah. How about you, Keeley?
So one time growing up, like I was like with my uncle, well, like my grandpa, I call him uncle, but and like with my mom, and like we're out at Clark's Hill, and I was like sledding down that steep hill, and then my uncle swears he's seen Bigfoot across like the river.
Really?
He even grabbed his binoculars and was trying to look.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I believe in Bigfoot, man. I think there's a documentary, and maybe you've seen it, but it was on Netflix. Maybe it's still there, but it's called Discovering Bigfoot.
Oh, my papa watches that all the time.
Yeah. No, so it's not Finding Bigfoot. It's not the one on DirecTV. It's just one documentary. It's not a series, but it's called Discovering Bigfoot. This guy has some pretty irrefutable evidence. You got to watch it. If you get a chance, like at the end, they actually show one. And his battery was going dead, and you just got to see it. But he was laying there, and he kind of describes it. He's learned a lot about him and how they, like, even during the day, they say that they have these, they call them watchers. Like, so there's like a couple of them that go out on different parts of the mountain, and kind of like, where they're watching out for everyone else, like, basically, and they have these ways of communicating, like knocking on trees and stuff. And but this one he was laying there, and he didn't know it for like however long he laid there. He didn't even know it until he happened to look, and there was one like kind of close to him, not really close, but kind of close. And he put the camera right on it and zoomed right into its face, and it was just like looking at him. It was cool. You got to see it, man. But he took it to the council in or I forget what type of council it was, in Alberta, Canada, and he wanted them recognized as an actual species, because he said he had irrefutable evidence, but they wouldn't they didn't want his case coming forward because they knew he had a lot of evidence, I guess. But I don't know. I still think they got to be like multi-dimensional, I think. Mm-hmm. No, I believe it, because there's actually here on this res, there's been over the years, there's been sightings. You know, there's been people who have come forward and said, "Man, I seen it." So yeah, and then you always hear about the smell, that he stinks. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I've heard a lot of people talk about. Several reses.
Oh, what about Singing Lady or whatever? Like
what is that one?
I don't know. Like my cousin, Cashlyn was like telling me about it in Blount area or whatever, like in the mountains or whatever. And like she was like on her 4-wheelers one time, and like she was like just cruising on with her and her little cousin. It was like nighttime too, and like they're hearing singing out in like the middle of nowhere, and it was like scaring them. And, like her grandma like told her that like it's like a negative spirit, but like it's not a negative spirit how she sings, but like I guess she like attracts you to like come to her, and like she like, I don't know, kill you, I guess.
Wow.
Something like that.
That'd be freaky, especially at night.
I was thinking maybe like with the Singing Lady, maybe she sings you to scare you away because like you're in her territory, but that's just what I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's possible. But there's this old kind of tale that I just heard, maybe 2011, first time I heard it, but a guy from Lodgepole actually told me that, like, their horses, when they bring them in, and if those that are real matted, like they got their mane is real matted in spots, they say that spirits they ride them. And I didn't know that. First I heard that.
I never heard that before.
Yeah. He said spirits go in and they tangle up their hair, and he said that's how you know that spirits were riding your horses when they're like they're matted up. And I was like, wow, I never heard that. But after hearing what I hear, I think they do go ride them, man. I swear, I think they ride them. So awesome, guys, man. I want to thank you guys for coming in and sharing some teachings, opinions, stories. It's all good. I love it. And we hope that you guys join us again.
Thank you for having us.